I understand he just retired from Aarhus University in Denmark. Um, uh, so Søren Asmussen has made fundamental contributions to many different areas of applied probability, including the theory of heavy tails, rare event asymptotics, and related simulation methods, matrix geometric modeling, Markov processes, and regeneration. He has authored around 150 research articles and 4 major books. Branch processes, co-authored with H. Herring, applied probability and Qs, ring probabilities, and stochastic simulation, algorithms and analysis, co-authored with Peter Green, which have become classics in their fields due to the clarity and rigor of the exposition. His outstanding research contributions have been recognized through the Marcel Newt's Applied Probability Prize in 1999 and the Inform's Outstanding Publication Prizes in Simulations in 2002 and 2008, and John von Neumann Theory Prize, joined with Peter Green in 2010 for their outstanding contributions in applied probability and the theory of stochastic simulation. Yeah. So let's. Yeah. So. It's all yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here at this beautiful place and this beautiful university, and always nice to see a new environment and meet new people. So you have my title here, and oh, of course.
Downward arrow.
Oh, it's a download. Okay, so this is a list of topics. As you see, this is a very long list, and I don't think I'm going to cover them all in detail. And why is it so long a list? That is because these log-normal distributions is a topic that I've worked on extensively with various collaborators in the last 5 years or even a bit longer. So here are my collaborators: Leonardo, who is a former PhD student, Mexican. Banking regulations for Basel. They are in part mandatory for give a simple number like $700 billion, for example. Yeah. We all know that there's no way you can reduce the risk risky business to just one number, but at least this is an attempt to do it, and it has been put down in law, and that most, as mathematicians, we go out and study how we do it. And the dominant approach here has been the value of risk, which is simply a quantile of a suitable random variable number x, for example, the total loss, total potential loss of the bank. There are two ways to quantify it. One is where you take the right quantile. So, as I'm going to say, the alpha could be typically be of the order of 99%. So, meaning that we are out in the tail, hard tail, where there's just 1% to the right. Yeah. So that is the actual. And here, definition assumes continuity, and just forget about this. Then there's a financial, which and where you go to the left tail. Yeah. And that large values are bad, and if you're in the left tail, that means that small values are bad. And I will explain later on how we get to these different situations. Typical values, they are also written down in the Basel treatments for various types of business. But typically, you're very far out from the tail. So, how to calculate it? You need to know the tail probabilities of this random variable. Let's just call it the loss. And you need to know those in the left tail and the right tail. And once you know how to compute them, you can solve the equation that these quantities are equal to the percentile 1% that you're interested in, and then you have your value of risk. So, first of this is value of risk. And this has been a big business in finance mathematics, how to compute these numbers. There are, a lot of the focus on this has come from the financial crisis in 2008, and where there has been a lot of criticism. Some people saying it was all the fault of the mathematicians. There even exists a paper called something like eight reasons for the financial crisis in 2008. And they are given 8 different mathematical reasons. One of them is actually the focus on the value of risk. And there are various reasons that people don't like it. So today it has more or less replaced by something called, and which is quite a lot related, and a lot of what I'm saying is also applying to expected shortfall. I'm stating the value of risk business. So one of the reasons is that people have believed that mathematicians did something bad. That was because they used value of risk. And one other reason was actually the focus on the Lognormal distribution. But we do it here anyway. So, situation, you have a portfolio, and you have assets that could be like stocks you own, or it could be also a portfolio of losses, potential losses for a bank or for an insurance company, potential claims made by the customer. So after one period, you have to sum up the values of all of these losses, and so we have a sum of these random variables, and the most common assumption in finance is that we have something Lognormal. So Lognormal distribution, that is just that you take a normal will mean mu variance sigma, square it, and raise it, and take the exponent of it. That's a Lognormal. And that is the famous Black-Scholes model, which can be motivated in various ways. I'm not going to get into that. But certainly it has also been popular in insurance, where these are the claims made by various clients. It has turned out to fit claim data quite well. And the different area of application, then there's The Lognormal distribution is very popular. There is a paper called the Lognormal distribution across the sciences, which has a huge list of references to areas where the Lognormal distribution has been used. Certainly in areas like finance and insurance, it is a key place to start analyzing things. Then there's something called short and long positions. Short position, that means that you own the stocks in your portfolio. So you are in an unlucky position if, let's think of the insurance situation. If the sum of your trades is large, then you are in a bad position. In finance, this means if you don't own the stocks, but your stocks, you have taken the obligations to return them at some time. And that's not something ordinary investors do, but the professionals in the investment business, they do things like that, and that is what they call short positions. Long positions is more familiar things, that if the sum of your of the values of your stocks is smaller, then that's a loss for you. So you see, we have two different situations. With the short positions, you need to do the calculations in the right tail, and with the long position, you need to do them in the left tail. And again, simplest model here is like shows, and the dependence plays quite a role. And it's common to, in financial data, to see correlations which are between 0.25 and 0.4 for different stocks. And the volatility is a sigma on a yearly base, 0.25 is a typical value. But you also compute volatilities at, for example, at a weekly basis. So it's a trivial exercise to see how to do that. But this means that this sigma that you have, the volatility can change quite a lot according to which type of calculations you are doing. Now, to analyze this position, it is more standard to look at the right tail than to look at the left tail. And we can quite easily get done with a right tail, maybe. Lognormal distributions, that is one of the main examples of a heavy tail, because there are no exponential moments. It is even what is called sub-exponential, and for sub-exponential distributions, there's simply an approximation for what is the tail probability in the right tail. Well, you simply have to take here I assume IID, you have to take the probability that one is large and then multiply by the number you have in the sum. So we have an approximation, which is very simply to calculate, and it is asymptotically correct as this number z goes to infinity. So you'll find that there are even extensions to dependence. That is what I did with Leonardo in his dissertation. We have an expression here with these stars and mu's. They now have to be calculated on the basis of the mu's and the sigmas, based on taking largest values, and the n star is the number of the ones taking largest values, and so on. And then just skip that. There are examples where if you don't have the Gaussian dependence, and that is one more of the reasons of the criticism of the financial crisis, that is that the dependence structures in real life are much more complicated than the ones you see in the multivariate normal distribution, or that dependence can do much more harm. And actually we did a counterexample showing that you could cook up an importance dependence structure so that you got a tail probability that are much larger than what is indicated in this. Yeah. Then there's a simulation estimate, and that is one that I find myself quite a lot. It is unusual since these simulation estimates, refined simulation, is most often used in important sampling. But here we're doing conditional Monte-Carlo, and we end up with an expressions like this, which means that you don't simulate the whole sum, but you only simulate the n-1 first. Then you take your probability condition on them, and you have you get this expression here. This is something extremely precise. This estimator is working just wonderful, and then it has the advantage that if you compare to our simulations, like important sampling, it's very simple. I mean, this is one line of code to write this down, and that is not the case for other estimators. There's quite a lot of work on the different algorithms. Here are some of the references for that written down. So this was the right tail of the lognormals. So from now on, the main emphasis is going to be on the left tail. And but the idea of what to do with the left tail we got from looking at what people do for the right tail of the light tail. So remember, the Lognormal had a heavy right tail, and that means that these standard methods for light tail random variables in the right tail, they don't apply. But we sort of got the idea from there on what to do. And there's something called the Saddlepoint approximation. And I will go briefly over what that means in its general version. It is based on a change of measure identity and combining that with a central limit expansion. That gives an approximation which is well known to be extremely precise light-tailed random variables. And so the idea is here, if you look at the normal left tail, then it is necessarily light because you have a bounded support. Bounded support implies light tail. And so we could try to do precisely the same thing, and that is what we have been doing. And now you will notice here, for example, occurrence of things like the moment generating function. And so that must somehow enter in the calculations for the normal distribution. Yeah. Before I get to that, let me say, surprisingly, even because the left tail is long positions, and which you could argue is a more typical case in finance, but there's practically nothing has been done. In Leonardo's dissertation, we started a little bit, and then came a paper by these two authors here, and we worked on dissertation at the same time. So, but the first step is the Laplace transform of the normal, and that has a feature, it's not explicit. So if you have to do the Saddlepoint approximations, you have to calculate various quantities, but they certainly include the Laplace transform, not of a sum, but of a single Lognormal random variable. So you can write it up as an integral, and here I'm forgetting about the mean, because the mean is just a scaling factor for this problem. So here's the integral, that is the Laplace transform of the normal distribution. This is this integral, and this integral is not explicit. It doesn't reduce to any known quantities that can be calculated. So what we did here is to use the Laplace method to estimate the asymptotics of this integral, and that gave us an approximation in terms of what is called Lambert's W function. It comes here. It is the inverse of a very simple function, x e to the x. So if you want to compute it point A, you know, where is this function at that time? Here, and then the argument. This happens, this is here, this is W, W. That has shown up in the last 20 years or so in a number of papers. I don't know why it came so late, but it's important. If you have something you can't compute, you can always give it a new name. Now we have a new function here. But another thing is, there's a basic paper by the computer scientist Don Knudsen from Stanford. There's a long paper on the functions. Okay. So we have the Laplace transform and Laplace method, and that is based on Taylor expansions. And let me forget what the general facts about the Laplace method is, but here comes our theorem, and that is an asymptotic expansion of the Laplace transform of the Lognormal distribution in terms of the Lambda W function. And we have something more than that. We also know the second order term in this expansion, and thereby we know how fast this is obtained. And we have a simulation algorithm, which is used. You take the main term here, and what is left you write as an expectation in the normal distribution. And this expectation you some sort of an important sampling for. And thereby we can estimate this remainder very precisely by simulation. There's a similar theorem giving efficiency results, and I'm not going to make precise what efficiency means, but there are various settings. We have some parameters here, namely there's a sigma square that plays a big role for the shape of the Lognormal distribution. And then we have the theta that we calculated before. So in various settings, there are efficiency results, and what efficiency means in each of these settings has a bit different meaning. So I'm just going to skip this one. Saddlepoint approximations. We need the Laplace transform, and there's some moments associated with the Laplace transform. Basically, these are derivatives of the Laplace transform, and therefore what we did for the Laplace transform, we can use the same sort of arguments. So, ideal Saddlepoint approximations, we have to find a theta centering the x in the distribution. Now the problem is we don't know this expectation. We don't know this theta of x, what that should be, but we have approximations. And that gives us an approximation for this unknown quantity that is even fairly nice looking. And here's the theorem saying how well it works. But here's more important, here's how it works in practice. Here's a target that we want to hit in with various values. And here is what our approximation does. And what you will see is it only goes wrong in the last out of 4 digits. So that is excellent. Now, this is the key question: is how good are the approximations you get for the left tail of a sum of Lognormals? That you could do in various ways. You could try to prove something on the various limits. As the number of terms gets large, or as you keep the number of terms fixed and move further and further out in the left tail. Or this problem I said about varying the volatility, and then you could simply see how does it work in a setting that is sort of realistic parameters. And that is what we have done. Comparison of these results with the simulation algorithms. Get a little bit back to later. Here are numerical examples. So we are having a portfolio in assets. So we can think of them as the number of stocks you have in your portfolio. And portfolios in real life, they are very big. The number of like an investment company in its portfolio, it would have thousands of stocks. So we are moving in power of 4 from something very moderate up to something which is more in line with what you would have in real life. So we take IID Lognormal returns, and as I said, the mean is a scaling factor, so just took that to be 0. And we did calculations with the yearly volatility, as I said, was of order 0.25, but we do calculations for various volatilities, for various periods, namely both a year, a month, a week, or a day. It's like what is done in practice, which means that you have to calculate what does this yearly volatility translate into, for example, a weekly volatility. Then we looked at values here of this C, then to make this probability of order 10 to the minus second, 10 to the minus fourth, and this is because this is precisely the range where Basel tells us we should be able to do the calculations. And here are the numerical results. And what is important is the comparison of this columns here, Saddle 1 and Monte Carlo, which is out here. So we have Monte Carlo estimates with 95% confidence interval. So these are, you are sort of sure that these are the correct values that you have out here. And then we have the probabilities, and you will notice we get down much further than 10 to the minus 4, depending on why. But in the end, what you see here is that basically here, the 2 first digits of our approximation are correct. And that is all you can ask for in financial applications. In the end, no one knows precisely what is the volatility. No one knows precisely if the model is Lognormal model is correct. So yeah, this type of error is not really important. But this is nice. This works very nicely. Then we have compared this with the results of the Gulisashvili Tankov, and here's just a table which basically says that the Gulisashvili and Tankov, they have to go down to the probability of 10 to the minus 192 before they start to get precise. So this is, they have a limit theorem which is mathematically correct, but the asymptotics does not get enforced until we are down to probabilities of this order, which is totally unrealistic. Of course, yeah. No one cares about probability of it also 10 to the minus 200. So just to say that we believe that for realistic values we have a better idea about how to do these calculations. The exponential family, that is something that enters for the simulation algorithm. And you see an exponential change of measure. You take the Lognormal distribution, multiply it by an exponential factor, and then you normalize it. So this means that the density, Lognormal density, basically this, and then the exponential factor here, and then this normalization to make it equal to 1. Question, how does it look? And for the simulation algorithm, how do we simulate from it? So this is the distribution here, and now we start moving, it corresponds to theta equal to 0, and we start to move theta to bigger values, and we are going to get something like this. And as you see, it looks more and more as if it's going to be a one-point distribution. And this is provable. Namely, it's concentrated on 1 divided by theta. Skip the calculation. And the asymptotic shape you can describe in various ways. No, Norman and the gamma, they are close if the shape parameter of the gamma is large. So not surprising that we didn't score for this, but you can also use it to not know. But for the important sampling, you have to use the gamma asymptotic shape, and then there's an accepted projection with gamma supposed. That's how we do it. We have done some work also on dependence, and we didn't get so far. We have some results. Here is one on the Laplace transform of a sum. Now where we check this.
No, I'm hearing it here. Don't worry. Yeah. No, but I'm using this other microphone as well. So don't worry.
Okay.
There you go.
So now we are taking but we are taking the y's and the y's and the sum to have a multivariate normal distribution. And so here is the Laplace transform. This is this integral. It's written up here where you have the thing that you have for the multivariate normal density here, and then this thing that comes here from calculating the Laplace transform. And again, you see you have an integral of a non-standard shape. So we have used the Laplace transforms one more time to find a multivariate Lambert solution, and it is the following, that the Laplace transform with dependence is an approximation that is written here. That's a fairly simple expression. And then there's a remainder term of which we know it is asymptotically correct. So if we go back, if we can. What is the weakness of this approximation? We really don't know about this minimizer of the integral. That's what I call the multivariate function. So here is a theorem. What it looks like, it can be expanded into a little in iterated weights. And what are these weights? They depend on the row sums to various spaces. If all in these row sums are positive, then there's a simple expression, and otherwise there's a very complicated expression that I'm not trying to. Here's a simple expression. This expansion is done after two terms, and everything is nice and explicit here. But if some row sums are negative, then the story is more complicated. We have a solution, but too complicated to write. We were quite intrigued at the row sums of the clear row, and we were wondering for a long time what is the intuition between these row sums. Then actually, there's an old paper by Savage from 1992, and it is the following. You know, if you take a simple normal, you know that is approximately 1 divided by x times the normal density, Mills ratio. So what is a multivariate problem in 2 dimensions? Here's a region. You have something bivariate normal. You ask what is the probability of force in this region. And the old Savage table, that gives approximate expressions in terms precisely of these row sums. So these row sums play some role in the multivariate distribution, but here we have one more example that they show up. Now you can get the idea that what we have in the Laplace transform of the sum. Then for numerical calculations, why don't we just invert the Laplace transform? First of all, our approximation is not precise enough to do that. But there is a more precise expression for the remainder term up here. And the key here is that we are getting an expression that involves something known, something expectation that we can And did this work to transform inversion? Answer is not because this was from Patrick, the PhD student, and he could do the inversion for a small number of summands, but he needed to have one sequence. Because we indicate this is very heavy calculations, and you would simply be better off by using approximations. So now I'm going to move away to one of the criticisms of the class 2, namely that it assumes multivariate normal dependence. We look at more general dependent structures. If we are trying to look which dependent structure is going to give the smallest probabilities in the tail, then usually you think that the best you can have is independence. And the worst you can have is comonotonicity, and this means simply with identical marginals that all the random variables are equal, and so of course then you can, the probability that the sum is large, the sum is just n times one of them, so you're going to get this expression here. So one thinks as this as the worst case, but there's written lots of papers on this topic. To which, what is the worst case? What is the worst dependent structure you can cook up with? And it's not comonotonicity, but you, at worst, you go wrong by a factor of 2. And similarly, and now I'm going to show some numerical results that show what happens as you move between independence and comonotonicity. How does this affect the distribution of the sum of Lognormals? Dependent structure means couplers. I don't know the word, forget about it. And the method is conditional Monte Carlo, which is not so well known for density estimation. But of course, it's very simple. If you have a sum and you want its density given, the n-1 first, it is just the density itself, and then the value on x minus and so on. I don't know why people never estimate densities this way. You see, you avoid everything like choosing a kernel or whatever is common for density estimations. You have a very simple method here, and that is what I've used. So here are the figures. And then let me just move back one time here. I say the density of S given these ones. That means, of course, since we are now talking about dependence, this has to be the conditional density. So here is the figure. This is what the density of, we have 10, sum of 10 Lognormals, I think, and we're looking what does the distribution of the sum looks like as function of the correlation. And this is still with the classical multivariate normal dependent structure. Here is what is considered the best case independence. The best case that is independent. And why is it considered the best case? That's because you see actually out in the tail, that's where we get the smallest probabilities. And the worst case is considered to be comonotonicity, that is this one. So this is correlation 1, independence is correlation 0, and all these figures here, all these intermediate ones, they show how does the shape of the distribution change as you move the correlation between 1 and 0. Now we move away from Gaussian dependent structure to Archimedean Copulas, and I can't explain what this whole thing is about, but these are dependent structures that are popular to use as sort of scenario analysis in finance. And here is, for example, bivariate uniforms with a Clayton copula. You see, with independence, they should scatter evenly around this area here, but with the Clayton copula, you see that they tend to be closer to the diagonal, and in particular so with the left tail. And the Clayton and the Gumbel are not popular copulas, but there's also the survival copula, and this means simply that you switch around like that. And so you high order of dependence we have here in the left tail. If you go to the survival copula, it changes to the right. So here comes the figures. That's a Clayton copula. And actually, this is some figures I produced myself. And when I did this, I was surprised to see actually how little difference did it show to the Gaussian case. Because these figures, they look pretty much like the one, this figure looks pretty much like the one that we have for the Gaussian case. Again, comonotonicity and independence as the extreme cases, because the Clayton copula, if you vary a certain parameter, you move between comonotonicity and independence. And then there are all these intermediate variants values. Then we could move to the tail, the survival copula, and you see somewhat different intermediate. Independence and comonotonicity, that doesn't matter if you look at the tail of the copula itself or the tail copula. But the intermediate values, the way this comonotonicity gets perturbed to the to the independent case, that is somewhat different if you go to the tail copula. And then comes here the Gumbel copula, where you see something looking like this, and for each tail copula you see something looking like this, and this is because Clayton copula has left tail dependence and the Gumbel has right tail dependence. But these are purely empirical things, but I think this is something one would often try to do, simply get an idea of what is the shape of the distribution. How does dependence influence what this distribution looks like. Last topic here is orthonormal polynomial expansions. And the one example is the S-verse expansion, where you take, if you have a given density, you approximate it by the normal density with the same mean and variance, and then, so that's main term, this is 1, and then there's a number of correction terms. And in practice, you stop after a number of terms. So an S-verse expansion is usually just taking one more extra term. And this we have been looking at adapting to sums of Lognormals to get a numerical method for calculating the density. And I'm not sure it makes sense to go through all the details here, but it is based on L2 expansions. And, oh, sorry. L2 expansion and finding some orthonormal basis in L2 of a certain basis measure, and then these you have these what do we call this orthonormal system here, and then you have the weights if you take the projection onto this. That is going to give an approximation for the density. And it involves the choice of a reference density. That is the one with respect to which your L2 is the L2 space of this reference density. And it should be as much like your target, that is the sum of Lognormals. And some of the choices, possible choices, are the Lognormal, which is motivated from the fact that there's a classical approximation for Lognormal distribution, sums of Lognormals, or the Clayton-Wilkinson, that says that you can use, or often it looks pretty much like a simple Lognormal. If you take a sum of Lognormals, the density looks pretty much like a density of a single Lognormal. This is far from always the case, but it indicates that maybe this could work. But then what we found out, some better methods is to use a gamma density as reference and the normal, and then it has to be modified with various weights. So I will show here just some figures. This one is quite intriguing because this Fenton-Wilkinson suggests that we take a reference distribution to be Lognormal. But there's still this normal problem saying that the Lognormal distribution is not determined by its moments. And that plays a role here when you do L2 expansions. Because this expansion, as I look at here, it converges as n goes to infinity, but it converges to the correct. That is shown here. Our target density is here. And when we do these expansions, in the first step we get this blue line, and after a few steps we have stabilized on this one. It doesn't move any further. So we get convergence, but we get convergence to the wrong side. And that is because the space we are doing the orthonormal projection on is not the space we would really like to do. It has to do, it's somehow connected to the surface normal problem. But here is, and this is my final illustration, that we have used our methods with a normal reference density, a gamma, and here is the correct thing here, and we have the Fenton-Wilkinson approximation, something called the skew normal distribution. We have a conditional Monte Carlo estimate, and so basically, Fenton, in this example, Fenton-Wilkinson, the blue one, is far from the target, which is this brown line, or whatever you call it. And actually, the conditional Monte Carlo estimator and the also normal expansions to the normal or gamma reference distributions, they can solve each other. So that is one way you can try to access the density of some of the dependent normals. And the density is actually a complicated one that's based on Copula. Some of my collaborators, they have done more work on this, and these also normal expansions to various other problems in finance and insurance with some success. But anyway, that concludes what I want to say.
No.